Speaker. Yes, again, something that came through the Section 80 to the MACO, and it's for Council to adopt the application received from the Rasta community to utilise a portion of the remainder of 3 to 5 buckles dorp for community vegetable gardens and educational purposes. Speaker, again, it's an item that I am very excited about, as we as a municipality are taking hands with communities in ensuring that our open spaces are firstly safe, that we create self-sustainability through garden projects, etc., and that we start to educate the youth. I think this is a immensely exciting item, and I would really like to congratulate the administration that got it to this point. I would just, Speaker, like to take council to the recommendation where it says that, especially number C, where we are granting now a in principle approval to the Rasta community, and D, that this in principle decision will now be advertised for counter offers for public comments and representations, and if should no counter proposals be received, it will then go through on this basis. And then also H is quite a extensive recommendation that deals with the comments that was made by civil services within the item. So with this, I would like to propose the recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Hani. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning, Speaker and the fellow councillors. We as ANC, we do support the recommendation of the Rasta community, but the Rasta community is not only the one that is in Pakistan. There's also the Rasta community in Rosemore and also in Thembalethu. So we do support that the land must be granted to the Rasta community. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Carolus. You have 2 minutes.
Ja, Speaker, goeiemorgen. Goeiemorgen, collega's. Die PBI verwelkom hierdie item waarin inwoners bemagtig word om groentetuine te vestig in gemeenskappe, dumping site en oop ruimtes. Die PBI verwelkom ook die feit dat sulke inwoners bemagtig sal word met huurinkomste, sodat hulle hulp kan kry vanaf landbou en ander organisasies. Die PBI se groot bekommernis is dat ons is bewus van aansoeke wat al sedert 2020 ingedien was, waar kerkleiers in Newton Park aansoek gedoen het vir oop ruimte langs die ras, en daar was nog nooit na gekyk nie. Ons wil egter vra dat daar gekyk sal word deur die administrasie na hierdie aansoek, en dat ons so gou moontlik iets van julle sal hoor. Dankie, Speaker.
Thank you very much. We have a translation, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Ukuthi-ke thina siyi-PBI siyayamkela lo mbane, siyawamkela le item ukubana abantu basifakele isicelo sokubana basebenzise indawo kulahlwa kuyo inkunkuma ibe yindawo abafuna ukwenza kuyo, bafuna ukuplanta izityalo khona, into ezawuthi incede uluntu lwethu. Thina siyawuyamkela kakhulu uba mabanikwe lo mhlaba. Uthi ke bakatshelo into yobana ayisiso sodwa isicelo esi esithe safakwa, uthi zikhona nezinye izicelo ezazi zifakiwe ngaphambili ezingekaphendulwanga ngokwesisalindileyo into yokubana makube khona impendulo. Uthi siyacela into yobana mazijongwe nezinye izicelo ukwenzela kuzokwazi ukuncedakala wonke umntu ofuna uncedo, odinga uncedo kwi-community yethu. Nkosi.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Nkumile. You have 1 minute.
Enkosi, Mr. Speaker. Umhlaba wonke ezandleni. Non-negotiable cardinal pillar number 1 of EFF, expropriation of South Africa's land without compensation for equal distribution in use. So we are fully considering application and support that the land should be given to Rasta community of Papakator, and not only them, but the entire community of George. Issue when we have a big issue when it comes to Umhlaba, Mr. Speaker. Hence, EFF is the vanguard of the community and workers' struggle, and will always be on the side of the people. Engos.
Thank you very much. Could we have a translation of the first portion, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first portion that was said is that land belongs to our people. People must be given land. Then he continued in English.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Fedman, please. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. I second the proposal made by Councillor Wessels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next, that item therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is 8.1.6, proposed alienation of a portion of the remainder of ARF 464 of George for the redevelopment of the Central State Corporatie, SSK. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels. You have 4 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, let me start off by saying that, you know, city is heading in the right direction when these type of institutions are starting to make contact and to set up premises in George. This will not only create jobs, but it will also assist in our local farming communities, from the small farmers right through to the big commercial farmers. And that is really a strategic point of George currently. So Central State Corporatie, which is SSK, operates in the Western and Southern Cape, as well as in the Langkloof and the Karoo. And I really want to thank the administration. I was part of a team that went through to Swellendam, where their headquarters are, in the way that an administration handled these dealings, in order to really create a facility, or for them to establish a facility that can assist in our economic development. The various the scope of the work can be seen on page 451, with a big mechanization center and a retail center being put up, as well as various retail outlets and production houses for grain and animal feed. So with that, I would like to propose the recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Hani. You have 3 minutes, please.
Ndiyabulisa somlomo kwakhona. Singumbutho wesizwe asiphasi thina lento yokunikwa lo SKK umhlaba kwakhona, because siyabona ukuthi asiyazi noba i-DA le ndlela ekhampeyina ngayo since lo nyaka uqalile. Oko kunikezwa ngemihlaba kubantu abamhlophe abangazuphuhlisa imisebenzi kubantu abamnyama, because xa ndijonga i-track record yalo SSK kusukela ngo-1931 kwakuxesha le-apartheid, oko bebeqhamla bengabantu abamhlophe. Nangoku le nto bathetha ngakho umntu omnyama uzawuqhamla msebenzi phaa. So thina siphasi sithi yonke imihlaba ekhoyo eGeorge ngoku makiye kwi-land audit ijonge ukuthi ngaba inikezela ngendlela erayithi na. Enkosi.
Thank you. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. It says that we as the ANC, we are not in support of this. We are not in support of this land being given to the SSK. because we are not even sure if this is a strategic way of the DA canvassing since we are going to the elections, because as we look at the background, as we checked the background of this company, since 1931, in those apartheid era, they have been benefiting and operating. So our people were not even benefiting. We are not even sure if our people will be benefiting if this company moves here. So we are not in support of the business being coming or being given the land to come and operate their business here, because it will not be beneficial to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Smart. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. No, I'm covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last speaker on the item is Alderman van Wyk.
Yes, thanks, Speaker. It is my privilege to second this proposal as has been set out by Councillor Dirk Wessels. SSK is one of the big 5 cooperatives, agricultural cooperatives in the country, and is certainly a major player in the agricultural sector within the Western Cape. And I think if we just take into account that the Western Cape's agricultural produce in terms of exports accounts for 54% of South Africa's agricultural exports. In effect then, the agricultural sector provides work for thousands, literally thousands of our George citizens on an ongoing basis and also on a seasonal basis. This company has also been in discussions, and part of the discussions that took place in Swellendam was the whole aspect of work that they are considering to do for emerging and for small farmers. And we hope that partnership will evolve in time because of the level of social responsibility that SSK has already displayed. So we believe this is going to be a significant investment into George, and will also be employing probably a few hundred people. So I am therefore in support of this proposal, and that this recommendation will then follow its route in terms of the public participation that will take place. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Alderman. We therefore move on. That carries. We move on to item 8.1.7, application to lease a portion of the road reserve in front of ARF 3503, George. And the first person to speak on this item is Councillor van Brandis. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Thank you. And the last person to speak on the item is Councillor Fry. You have 1 minute. Councillor Fry. DA Whip, is there someone going to talk?
Arnold will second for you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. That item therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is the application 8.1.8, application to purchase of portion of remainder Advent 3169 and 80 George, situated in the corner of CJ Langenwerfen Road and Witfontein Road. And the first person to speak on this item is our Councillor Erfigland. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. The item today seeks the approval of council for the application of the purchasing of a portion of the earths as mentioned in the item. I therefore propose that we accept the recommendation as it is here in the agenda of today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Mankele. You have 2 minutes.
Manbuli, Speaker. CNC sithetha ngazwinye kwi-item. Sisithi maziqale zaziswe nezomhlaba ngoba asazi banitheni ninikana nodwa nemihlaba kweli cala because ikhona imihlaba emele uyanikeza nabo kwicala labantu bamnyama but ninikana nodwa sifuna ukuyazi ke ngemihlaba ninganikani nodwa asinazi noba niyakhampeyina as umbutho olawulayo so siyacela imihlaba siyazibaluleke kakhulu because nathi sinawo even namafama kwiindawo sihlala kuzo so siyacela ninike abantu imihlaba ngendlela ningakhethi cala kungakhethwa cala because nalapha ikhona imihlaba efuna ukuprova even nakwezi ndawo zomathembalethu Buckersdorp Bottas please siyacela speaker shintshani indlela okwenza yibani fair xa nisenza ningabi ngathi ndlana ngale mihlaba niyatyisana ezabantu abamhlophe enkosi kakhulu speaker.
Thank you. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. We as the ANC, as the ANC, we still stand in what our previous ANC councillor said, that we are not in support of this because it seems like you are giving each other land. Land is not available for us and our people in our areas. Therefore, we are not sure if this is the way of strategizing when it comes to canvassing, because it seems like you are giving each other land left, right, but our people are not getting land, of which it is not fair on our side, because land should be available for our side, our areas in Thembalethu and Buckersdorp areas as well. So we are not in support of this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Camille. You have 1 minute.
Enkosi Mr Speaker, thina siyi-EFF sithi no umasipala kayisiza nale mihlaba ezayithengisa makakasibonise sihambe siyokwenza i-oversight. So we are rejecting application to purchase of the land. We as EFF believe that once the state is in control and custodianship of all land, those who are currently using the land or intend using land in immediate will apply for land use license, which should be granted only when there is a purpose for the land being applied for. So siyayirejecta Mr Speaker. Kwaye ke imihlaba mayeke ukuthengiswa as ba i-ANC seyitshilo ithengiswe ngondlela mnyama. So we are totally rejecting Ikandu's application komika Mr Delfort okanye Delfort. So easy purchasing of land as umhlaba ke enqongophele kweli lethu apha eWestern Cape. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Nias. Councillor Nias, you have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't know if the previous council read the item. The only way that this can be used is for parking as been in the agenda, and it was approved 2 times before. So I want to second my Councillor Vigeland in the recommendation as on pages 535 and 536. We can't do anything else of this piece of land. Thank you. So I second.
Thank you very much. Councillors, I'm going to ask, I just need to go and drink some water. I'm going to ask for a 10-minute reset. And the item carries. I just want to ask if we have a 5-minute break, body break. I need to go and drink some water. Can we please reconvene at, let's make it 20 to 11, please, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. We'll reconvene at 20 to 11. Thank you very much, councillors, for your indulgence. I apologize for that, having to break at such short notice. We're going to continue with item 8.2, reports to special mayoral committees on the 21st of June 2023. And the first item there is 8.2.1, the approval of the 11 kV electrical MV master plan. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Mbete. Councillor Mbete, you have 3 minutes, please.
Morning, Speaker. Morning, everyone. Sorry. Speaker, the Electrotechnical Service Directorate is busy with updating its network master plans. The master plan has been split into various phases due to the extensive technical work required. Speaker, we remember in June 2022, Council approved the 66 kV HV master plan. This report is representing the findings from the first phase of the three phases, of the 11 kV MV network master plans. The aim, Speaker, will be to consolidate all these master plans into one document once all phases have been completed. Specifically, the scope of the study was limited to the 11 kV distribution network within George Municipality in the substation zones of Heather Park, Protea, and Tamsui substation, as this area has the most booming developments. Other areas will be addressed in subsequent phases. Within the study, analysis of the effects of incorporating renewable energy into the municipal electricity grid was done. However, Speaker, the scope of the analysis was restricted to focusing on one, impact of renewable energy on electrical demand. This task assesses the effect of renewable energy production on the load demand. 2, impact of renewable energy on the electrical network. This one states that task that's only considering the voltage levels and thermal loading impact of renewable energy. The results of this study is summarized in Annexure B. From these results, various upgrades are identified over the course of the 20-year study period as the area develops. Annexure C contains the network upgrades that are identified by the study and that needs to be completed before the network constraint is reached. Speaker, when it comes to financial implication, as this is the master planning report for the next 20 years, the costs related to the upgrades are estimated and subject to change depending on the development and the phasing of the upgrades. There should be furthermore be limited financial implications for the municipality, since these upgrades should be funded from the development contributions paid by the developments during the land use application process. The required budget for the planned upgrades shall be included in the budgeting process. Therefore, Speaker, I recommend the recommendation as it is. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Mankele. You have 2 minutes. Councillor Mankele, you have 2 minutes, please.
Are you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Speaker, sizawungena ngohlobo ANC. Siyabulela kule item, but une challenges esiqonda ukuthi umasipala wethu unexesha elininzi ebekufanele ba izinga lombane liphezulu ezibasisazi ba urhulumente wethu, because siyayazi iDA ineminyaka emininzi ikhokhela lo masipala. Bekungafanelanga uba sinengxaki ezingaka zombane, because sine-challenges sinazo kwindawo ezinjengoma Zone 6, Tabata Street, neSilver Town, Zone 9, neeportion zasezone 9, sinengxaki yombane ostriphayo. So siyayibulela kakhulu into yokunyuswa kwamandla ombane, but sikwathi maziqwalasele kakhulu ezinto kulo masipala, because kwiminyaka emingaka nidlisela ngoba niphethe singaliboni thina utshintsho. Ndinethemba nangoku kule minyaka nikhokhele iimatshi ezininzi bezinyuka zikhala ngengxaki yombane. So sinengxaki yombane, but still umasipala okhokhelwa iDA uzincoma ngokuthi uyasebenza. So sizama ukuthi siyayibulela uba siyayazi uba ngurhulumente wethu othi makwengeze amandla ombane. So siyayibulela ukuba nilisebenzise lo thuba ngoba sikhona sinigadile. Siyabulela, Speaker. Enkosi, siyixhasa kakhulu le nto. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. Can we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor says, we as the ANC, we are much grateful for this report. We understand it very well. It says that this DA-led municipality is faced with a lot of challenges, and our areas are still faced with a lot of challenges. And because the DA has been in charge in this municipality for quite some time now, these challenges should have been resorted or sorted out by this time, because we are experiencing a lot of problems when it comes to our electricity in Zone 6, mentioned Tabata Street, Silvertown, and other areas of Zone 9 as well. We are experiencing a lot of problems when it comes to the electricity that keeps on tripping. But we are much grateful for the increase of energy power. We know that our government is the one who actually initiated this. So we are very grateful for this initiative. We know that there's a lot of protests and marches that this municipality has been having for the past years, and we know most challenges, it was because of the electricity problems that we have. So now this DA-led municipality boasts of them being in power, of them resolving these problems, but actually these problems we are still occurring, and we still have a problem with such in such areas. So we are grateful for this, and we are appreciating it, but we hope that these problems that we have as challenges will be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Camille. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We as the EFF take note of the demand and the growth of Georgetown. We also understand the importance of George Municipality in allocating resources at the correct time. We also want to urge the municipality to treat our communities equal and stop prioritizing certain race and racial segregate others. The issue of formalizing our informal should be the priority in this of this municipality. Long ago, as they do now in this instance, so that it could avoid the formalized areas experiencing the darkness due to illegal connections. So that's ours as EFF. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I'm going to try that again. I don't know whether Councillor Smart is still with us. He's asked to be excused. Councillor Smart. He has asked to, unfortunately, has something quickly to do. I'm therefore going to ask Councillor Lawsey. You have 1 minute. Councillor Lawsey. Councillor Smart is not available. Can I ask you then to continue with the last speakers, please?
Speaker, Speaker, ndisebenzisa inantsika kasisithandi. Speaker, ndifuna nje ukungena kancinci ndenze nje umbulelo oko kwathi kwakwathi i-DA. Noko umehluko uyenzeka kwinto edibene nombane. Into ebalulekileyo njengona Speaker, xa sinawuthi sinyamezele nje singabantu kwinto edibene notsala umbane, abantu yingxaki kwindaba edibene notsala umbane. Then ke ngoku siphetha ke ngoku sifela singumasipari isimoko okanye ingxaki yaloo ngxaki. Andithi abantu mabangawutsala umbane mabawutsala umbane, but ingxaki yiyo eyenza ibe yi-challenge into edibene notsalo lombane. Kona umbane noko zikhona umehluko owenzekayo, ndiyawubona, ndiyawuncoma umasipala we-Democratic Alliance ne-coalition kulo minyaka seyiphethe izinto eseyizenzile.
Thank you. I couldn't hear the last part. I take it that's finished. Could we have the translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. I'm struggling to hear, Councillor, but I will interpret what we heard. He says, I want to say thank you because there's a difference in the electricity department. Since the DA is in charge, we can see there's a huge difference, and there's no We have not been receiving a lot of challenges yet because we are busy with resolving the problems that we have. If people can just be a little patient, little by little small steps, everything will be sorted in due time. But I just want to say I am grateful.
He did
A
say
point of order,
coalition
Speaker.
as well. He did say coalition. Thank you.
Yes, point of order, Speaker. Councillor also must withdraw the
Councillor,
word smoker.
Councillor, can I ask you to put your point of order and your the number in it? We know the rules. I'm not going to change the rules. Thank you. I'm going to continue that item therefore carries. We're going to move on then to the next item, which is item number 9, which is the minutes of the Municipal Public Accounts Committee. Impact, which we received nothing. Item 10, which is reports to Municipal Public Accounts Committee, which nothing. Item 11, reports to Council. Item 11.1, proposed renewal of service contract of the Audit Committee Chairperson, Mr. E. Leroux. The first person to speak on this is Alderman van Wyk. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Speaker. As Council will be aware, the Audit Committee and each of the members of the committee served for a period of 3 years. At the end of that term, a performance review evaluation is done by an independent body of each of the members. In this case, the chairman of the Audit Committee, Mr. Ewan Leroux's term as chairman is now is about to end, at being the 3-year term, and so the review has been undertaken, and the recommendation is that Mr. Leroux continues in the position as chair of the Audit Committee. I think we are all aware of the important role that the Audit Committee fulfills at a municipality, and that overall guidance and governance role that they fulfill in taking us through the year and then through the audit process ultimately. So we wish to thank Mr. Leroux for the service that he has performed already as chair, and I accordingly recommend that he continue for the next 3-year term as audit chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. The next person to speak on this item is Alderman van Gericke. You have 2 minutes.
Speaker, again, good morning. The Audit Committee is a very important committee in any organ of state, particularly in the municipality. And every action and every process pertaining to an audit committee must meet legislative requirements. Now, you don't want your audit committee to be under suspicion or the outcomes of the audit committee to be discredited. Yeah? Now, here, confirmed by the mayor, is that the term of the chair has expired. Expired is the key word. So in terms of the audit charter, these positions must now be filled. They cannot just merely simply be a continuation of appointments because somebody has done so excellent job. Cannot be. It's illegal. And if council decides today to go ahead with this, we are all in trouble. And I want to ask you if you know that we can go to jail for this decision, because everybody else must get an opportunity to apply. There's nothing wrong if you appoint your own, but the process must be fair. So here, the PBI will distance itself from a continuation of a contract of a chairperson unless that process is fair, transparent, and equitable, and unless this position is being advertised so that other people, so that other experts also have the opportunity to apply and to come on board. And this is our point. We take a strong stance on this. And we urge you as the speaker to withdraw this item so that, because there's an order charter, the charter must be respected. And the charter has been accepted by this council. That charter must also be respected by this council. We cannot just violate the charter as and when, and certain faces come up and certain favorites come up. We cannot do that.
Time, Councillor. Can you wrap up, Alderman?
Mr. Speaker, somebody is just cutting me off now. You must warn me, please, because the second time it's happening. I'm asking you to withdraw the second, please.
Your time is up. Thank you, Alderman. I'll continue. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Kampe. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we as the EFF, we always stand for our people and for the sake that people have to sustain their lives. Therefore, when I check it at I-10, it stated there the main aim of the municipality is to establish and maintain the audit committee. So therefore, you can only be able to maintain what you already have done. To get something new, that must be re-established into new terms. So therefore, when I check at the performance of this chairperson, I see at no point that the contract cannot be renewed, because we must take into consideration that this person have a family, have a child, have everything to sustain his life. So to cut it short while he was trying by all his means to see that our audit committee is a standard, it will be totally unfair for us as this municipality. Therefore, we as the EFF, we say the contract can be granted to be renewed. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person, we're going to skip Councillor Smart because unfortunately he's out. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Du Toit. You have 1 minute, please.
Speaker, I second the Mayor's proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I then take the recommendation as passed, and I'm going to allow this item then to carry. And we therefore move on to the next item, which is 11.2. The reviewed disaster management plan, item 11.2. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Clark. You have 3 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you. This item is to provide a updated and reviewed corporate disaster management plan for George Municipality. Municipalities are legally obliged to prepare and submit a disaster management plan as per Section 53(1)(a) of the Disaster Management Act 57 of 2000. Now, this plan is specifically draws our attention to what the disaster is, what disaster management is, what the results of disasters are, and it also speaks of the linkage with the IDP and annual reviews thereof, which emphasize the fact that it is a document or plan in progress. It also describes the individual responsibilities of the the Chief Fire Officer, and the various directorates. And it is the responsibility of each role player or directorate named in this plan to notify the disaster management directly of any revisions, etc. We are aware of the recent Knysna fires and COVID-19 pandemic, Speaker. We're all together, and we applaud the efforts of our various partners. Now, Speaker, that is where our strength lies. Our strength of this plan lies. It is in the long-term relationships with other role players whom we value. It's also important to note that municipalities, or that George Municipality, must also consult with the Garden Route District Municipality and Provincial Management Centre on any preparations or amendments of this plan. And Speaker, we should actually also thank the Garden Route Joint Operations Centre for their important role in this space. Thank you, Speaker. I therefore recommend that the reviewed corporate disaster management plan be approved.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Lento. You have 4 minutes, please.
Hello, Speaker. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Can you hear me?
Yes, Councillor, I can hear you.
Silence. Silence means consent.
No, silence
Thina
means I'm
singikho-
listening.
Okay, good, Mr. Speaker. Good day, Speaker and fellow councillors. Thina singkhongolose asinangxaki ngesicwangciso soqumrhu solawulo lwentlekele siqwalaselwe ngokutsha and kwaye siphunyezwe because yonke le nto isuka kurhulumente wethu omkhulu kakhongolose netheli vovo lombutho wenu idata apha kuthi kwii-areas zethu bekukho ii-floods and ayisebenzi next ibhaliwe but funeke le nto i-implementwe sifuna into i-implementwe mayingabhalwa yona intle yona uba ntloko xa ibhalwe because suka kurhulumente wethu uRamza into kaRamza yona iGeorge oko yaba kwi-disaster iyafanana akho mahluko siye sibone nje ishukuma apho kunetawuni but apha kuthi ezilokishini zethu dololo asiboni into eyenzekayo abantu bethu bahleli kwi-disaster apha kuthi ezilokishini zethu every day is a daily thing umzekelo ophilayo nawo apha edameni e-Ward 12 kukho idama phaa elikhulu lihleli nje apha kudala iyafana la ngathi likwi-disaster is a disaster because yinto ekudala eyenzekayo sithethi ngento eyenzeka ngoku elaa dama likwi-disaster abantu babulawa batshonele phaya akho nto yenzekayo umasipala wethu basuke bathi noted but akho nto yenzeka sifuna into zenzekayo makungathethwa nje into zakuthi makwenzeke akuthethwe bekwenzeke because urhulumente wethu urhulumente wethu omkhulu uyasebenza nakobhonjas asiboni into zenzekayo phaa sifuna kwenzeke Speaker Mayor sanuthetha nje makwenzeke into zenzeka apha kuthi and ke vizithani apha kuthi fikani visibility ibalulekile xa niza apha kwento makuvizithwe kungekuthiwa kwi-flood kwinto ezenzekayo zonke ii-areas zethu we can say so-called coloured areas akho nto ishukumayo siyabona nimane ufota meya nibe bahle kwilantuka kwi-George Herald sikubone meya umbeyo ufake laa bhatyi yakho but asikuboni uzapha kuthi elokishini zethu funa i-visibility meya and xa nisenza kakuhle sanincoma nto zobawo but ngoku anenzi kakuhle angeze sincome because urhulumente wethu kakhongolose uyasebenza apha phezulu uyazithoba imali uyaninika imali kodwa aniyenzi umsebenzi wayo. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. We as a ANC, we do not have a problem with this reviewed disaster management plan today because actually it comes from our government, the ANC government. We have lots of floods in our areas, and this review disaster plan should not only be written on paper, but this should come to implementation because yes, it is written on paper and we understand it, but when it comes to taking action, nothing is happening in our locations. We are sitting in with disastrous areas. For example, in Ward 12, there's a dam. There's a dam in Ward 12. So that is also a disaster. And every time when we are told by the municipality people that it is noted whenever we are complaining about this situation, we are told that it is being noted. We want implementation should be done because our government is doing the work and our government is giving the money, is granting the funds. So our local municipality should actually be doing this because we are in a disaster area because whenever there are disasters in our township, I would say in Thembalethu and local colored areas, nothing happens. We see you, Mayor, when you are taking pictures in your beautiful attire in the George Herald, and we get we get to read about the work that you are doing, but we do not see you visible in our areas, in our location. We want the visibility, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Speaker, please be visible in our areas because the government of ANC is giving you or is granting you so that you can be able to come and assist in our areas as well. So we request or we want implementation and visibility in our areas as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Alderman Oshiriki. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the disaster management is a very important topic, not only during winter time, but also in summertime and all seasons. And therefore, we also thank the officials for bringing the review of this item to council so that we have tightened that we may also make some contribution on this. Yes, somebody has alluded earlier onto the rains and the flooding and so on. If it starts to flood in your area, it is a disaster. Then the disaster management policies must be invoked on all levels, which we have not seen, for instance, in the recent rains and flooding and so on. Because it's a disaster, you can invoke that policy and you can basically not ignore, but you can put measures in place to satisfy the needs of the people. This is what it means in the actual facts. You don't need to say, oh, we have a policy and therefore you must apply for GAN+. The disaster management policy makes provision for you to provide in circumstances like disaster. Now, many of these disasters are influenced by climate change and by earth warming at the moment. And therefore, our officials that work on these departments must have the relevant qualifications to execute their duties. I am reminded, Mr. Speaker, that in the previous term we have struggled to contain or maintain, disasters because of the fact that the director did not have a qualification even in disaster management. It's important that people that we appoint in these positions do comply with legislation and that they do have the relevant qualifications, so because they know what to do once they are qualified to do these things. These people, they are experts. They will influence the development policies of the city. They will warn against high-lying and low-lying areas and so on and so on. I'm just making an example because we're dealing at length with this in the district municipality. The district municipality is the authority on disaster management. So we are not against the implementation or the review of this policy. We just say we must cover all levels. And key to this is that our officials, the top officials, are qualified, Mr. Speaker, to do these things and to understand disaster management and to understand, earth warming and climate change and come to council with items to warn us beforehand of what's about to come and how measures can be put in place in order to avoid total destruction. It's a broad topic, and it's a topic that affects us all. Disaster doesn't see color. It affects us all, and therefore we must be.
Thank you, Alderman. That was your 3 minutes, and much appreciated. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Nkumile. You have 1 minute, please.
Nkosi Somlomo, ndiyabulela. Somlomo andizuba mde kakhulu. Nanjengokuba izipika esezithethile lapha zigxile kakhulu kwizinto ke ezitya umzi malunga ke nale reviewing of disaster management. So, Speaker, I will just want to refer George Municipality to Ilandu's introduction yakhe reviewing of disaster management policy, as it is saying that municipality is committed to build a safer environment for its community. The aim is to outline the actions for efficient deployment and coordination of the services, provide the earliest response to protect and preserve life and property, minimize the effect of the emergency or disaster, and restore essential services. Mr. Speaker, zimnandi izinto kazithethwa zibhalwe phansi. Into engamandla ke ilapha ekwenzeni. Asazi ke noba ke uGeorge Municipality ezi policies implementwa kwi.
Thank you, Councillor. Your minute is up already, unfortunately. Thank you. Could we have a translation, please?
No grace time.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
The first part that the councillor says He won't be long because the previous speakers has already touched on some important factors that he was about to touch as well. So he won't be long. So he continued to read the implementation plan, but he says in his last words that it is very much important to do implementation because yes, it is written, but the most important thing, it is for us to make sure that implementation it's been done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Gultig. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity. I would like to thank Charlotte Clark for proposing the reviewed disaster plan. Therefore, I would like to second it and thank Mr. Barnard and his team for presenting us with this reviewed plan. And of course, Municipal Minister Dr. Grass for overview. And then, of course, our Mayor for the oversight on water management, where we have to allocate plans for to preventing in the future, where this plan was clearly helped all of us in George during COVID, floods and fires. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. The item therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is item 11.3, the final approval of the application to lease a portion of land in the municipal parking area in front of the garage of the George Golf Club for the erection of a freestanding cellular base station. The first person to speak on this is Alderman Councillor Nias. You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to take you to the recommendation on page 895. Can we go there? Property services, please move up. I recommend as the on the page. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The last person. Thank you. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Brown. Councillor Brown, you have 1 minute.
Thank you, Speaker. I support the recommendation made by my colleague. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. That item therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is item 11.4, the final approval of the application to lease a portion of the railway siding 340588 situated on a portion of the remainder of R464 George. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Wessels. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. For Council, this item is now coming back to us from a MACO meeting that was held on the 27th of October, where it was resolved to grant a in principle approval. This item has now come back to Council for final adoption, where it needs to be noted that we've received no counter proposals, and that we can now go ahead with granting the final approval. And then recommendation C just gives detail to the approval that is to be granted from Council. I think it's imperative that we do this. PPC is a big role player in the construction industry, and they obviously provide an enormous amount of jobs to all our communities. So with all of that being said, I would like to propose recommendation A, B, and C as per page 900 and 901. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next to talk is the ANC. You have 1 minute, please.
Model Speaker.
Morning.
ANC.
You can continue.
Do you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, you may continue.
Sasithe make ibanjwe into yokuthengiswa kwemihlaba. Kwenziwe i-land audit. Izobuya ize ke ngokwapha ekansileni. Njengookansila aba-ANC abatsha apha ebhokweni. Siyayicela le nto mayike yenzeke le land audit ibe transparent sizoyibona ihamba njani. Kwasafika kweli bhunga ungathengisa imihlaba okanye nami imihlaba niyithengisa nicampaigna ngayo. Njengoba sinibona kuza i-election ngonyaqoma manje nami ngithengisa imihlaba left and right. Make ime ke lento iyawuphandwa izobuya icacile. Xa kwenziwe lelo audit izabuya icacile ibhizinisi kweliphela icala. Ungathengiswa imihlaba uthengiselwa nithengisana nina kwanodwapho. Kwanye nenza ibani nibe nemali ocampaign. Mayikime ke speak. Enkosi.
Thank you. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. We as the ANC, we had previously suggested that we stop with the selling of land because it seems like it's happening left, right, and center. There's land being sold and it is not being done transparently for us, all councillors, to be involved in the process because we want this to be audited so that we can all have a say as councillors. Now, we are not sure if this is your strategy of canvassing because it seems like you are selling land for everybody, but it is only revealed to you, but not to us. So we are not in support of this, and we say let the selling of land stand so that it can all just be transparent to all of us, and let the audit be done first. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Smart is still not back. Can I ask Councillor Fry? You have 1 minute, please. Councillor Barnard is.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, just to make a slight correction, this is a railway siding that we're talking about in this item, but I therefore would like to second the proposal made by Councillor Wessels. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The item therefore carries. Item 11.5 is the request for the appointment of an additional suitable qualified person as a member of the disciplinary board in terms of the municipal regulations on financial misconduct procedures and criminal proceedings. The first person to speak on this item is Alderman van Wyk. You have 2 minutes.
Thanks, Speaker. Yes, this item before us relates to a vacancy that has now arisen on the disciplinary board. One of the members of that disciplinary board has resigned because that person has taken up a position with one of the panel attorneys for the municipality, and accordingly will then not be considered to be an independent person on the disciplinary board. And what is accordingly proposed is that we call for further applications. Speaker.
Sorry, Alderman.
Speaker, I hope you've silenced the people who've had their mic open. As I was saying, is that there's a casual vacancy and that accordingly we will then be advertising for an additional 1 or 2 persons to be available to serve on the disciplinary board. This disciplinary board's term of office comes to an end in about a year's time from today, basically the end of June next year. And therefore, we would just like to be able to advertise and have a person available on the disciplinary board going forward for the next year. So accordingly, I propose the process that is due to be followed. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman. The next party to speak is the ANC. You have 1 minute, please. Is someone going to speak from the ANC? You have 1 minute.
Speaker. Yes, sibuyile speaker khona phela khona vele. Hayi siyayivela le nto niyenzayo yokongeza. amalungu azawungenelela pha. Siyayixhasa laa nto kuba noko ixubile. Enkosi.
Can I have a translation, please?
No, Speaker, I didn't get that at all.
Kuthi kaloku sesinomawonga thina singu-ANC siyayixhasa laa nto kuba kaloku ixubile utsho ke lo tata lo gqibothetha. Kaloku sisokoliswa yinethiwekhi lo gandaganda.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Speaker. The councillor said that we as the ANC we are in full support of this recommendation because it is mixed as we can see. So we support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is the EFF. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, as the item states that we are looking for a suitable and a qualified person. So the definition for suitable between us and you as the coalition, it seems to be different as the opposition because your suitability is not our suitability. That's the matter of fact when it comes to hiring people in this municipality. We don't have a problem with people coming in, but the kind of people that are coming in is the problem that we are having. Because you're always hiring people that are favoring your sides. Because when it comes to discipline, you need someone who's going to be fair to everyone, not someone when it comes to a matter whereby that person, he or she must discipline that situation, will now have to favor because it's your cousin or your brother's wife or whatsoever. So those are the matters that are affecting us because the most staff in that municipality is your people that needs to be disciplined, that are breaking the rules and the laws that are set by this council. So therefore, it's fine, the item will proceed. The person must be selected, but must keep in mind that you will not keep on hiring your people. Can you come with a new color, new language? Someone fresh? I'm on Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. The last person to speak on this item is Councillor Vigland. You have 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I second the proposal made by Alderman van Wyk.
Thank you very much. The next item therefore carries. The next item therefore is 11.6. Investigation of, as contemplated in item 15, read with 16 of the Code of Conduct for Councillors, Schedule 7 of the Local Government Municipal Structures Amendment Act number 3 of 2021, alleged breach of Code of Conduct by Alderman Gericke. The first person to speak on this item is Councillor Neethling. Councillor Neethling, you have 4 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I refer you to page 916 of our agenda? And the recommendation is on that page, or starting on that page. And if I read that council takes note and accept the outcome of the investigations as fully set out in the investigation report from BDP attorneys. And then on the next page, page 197, we've got item B, that council resolved to proceed with disciplinary action against Alderman Gericke on the reported alleged breach based on the conclusions and recommendations cited in the investigation report. And then C is a slight change, that council established a special committee and then consisting of Councillors Neethling as a chair, Councillors Johnson, Nkamile, and Barnard, and as secondis, Councillor Saffers and Eso, to investigate and make a finding on any alleged breach of the code and make appropriate recommendations to councillors. And then D, that the outcome of the investigation report to the MEC for local government. And I so propose, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Carolus. You have 2 minutes. Councillor Carolus, you have 2 minutes.
Ja, Speaker, dankie.
Speaker, die PBI voel dat hierdie aangeleenthede 'n waste of taxpayers money. Dis net die prokureurs in hierdie gevalle wat geld maak. Dis 'n abuse of powers and it comes down to a witch hunt. Die councillor Malien Barnard was eensaidig gespreek en is duidelik dat daar 'n verskil is in die hantering van koalisielede en oppositieraadslede. Malien Barnard was ook uitgestel vir enige hearing. She has no right to chase any councillor out of IDP meeting, and this warrants to a sanction for serious misconduct. Alderman Gierke arrived late and walked in.
Councillor, we cannot discuss the merits of the case. This is not for this meeting. We cannot discuss the merits of the case here. We're discussing the fact that this is going forward. So please stick to the item.
Ja, Speaker, ek dink dis gepas dat ons council moet help om sy mind op te maak.
Council, that will be discussed at the committee. This is the decision that is basically that a decision is made by a independent investigation, and therefore we cannot discuss the merits of this decision.
Yeah, your discrimination in this event is evident as you are only targeting certain councillors. Dan op die media statement. Dit was 'n media statement geweest wat gerelease was deur die PBI en dis 'n PBI statement. It is clear that you don't understand reasons of powers. When your leader is making remarks, he's not charged. Your decision to charge Alderman Gierke is deliberate, malicious, an attack on his integrity and good service to the people of George. Your office is used as a political tool to silence opposition councillors. The PBI has taken a stand to defend its president.
Councillors, please. Councillors, microphones. Councillors.
The PBI has taken a stand to defend its president, and any court order flowing from this action will be served in your personal capacity as the Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Johnson. Councillor Johnson, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, councillors, members of the media, everybody listening. Mr. Speaker, I've said it before, there's a code of conduct for councillors, and you has a responsibility as a speaker to act on whether there is any alleged breach of any councillor. And basically what we're seeing here once again is that action taking place, and we as George Municipality is doing what we should do with regards to discipline. Mr. Speaker, I therefore on this item wish to second the proposal with the amended C, where we stated that Councillor Neethling will be the chairperson, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Camille, and Councillor Barnard will be the members, and the secundaries will be Councillor Saffers and Isu, as it also been put in the chat box by Alderman Leon van Wyk. I therefore propose. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I therefore second.
Councillors, just 1 second. I just need to have a look at this for 1 second. Give me a second just to think about this. Councillors, I see that there has been a request by Councillor Barnard to recuse herself from that committee. I feel that is only correct. And I therefore ask that another name be submitted for that committee, please. Councillor Suffers will therefore be the fourth
Yeah.
person on that committee, please.
I'll propose as such. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We therefore accept it like that. Thank you very much.
Seconded.
Thank you very much. We'll therefore move on. The next item on this agenda then is 11.7. The one I suppose that a lot of you have been waiting for, and I notice that there's no debate on this item, which is the council recess, which is item 11.7, council recess. The first person to speak on the item is Councillor Tana. You have 1 minute, please.
Good morning, Speaker. Morning, everyone. This item, Speaker, is to approve council recess. Speaker, I propose that council approves the recess from period of Monday, the 3rd of July to Friday, the 21st of July. That the Executive Mayor Leon van Wyk and the Municipal Manager, Dr. Grants, or their authorized representatives be delegated and authorized to perform all functions of council except those reserved for council in terms of section 162 of the Constitution. I recommend that 11.7, which is on page 955 to page 957, to be approved as is. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Roelofse.
Good morning, Speaker. Good morning, everybody. I support the recommendation and proposal made by my colleague, Councillor Katana. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. I just need for the amendment to be noted in the chat box that the item originally read the 20th and that has been amended to the 21st. So I need that corrected by corporate services for the minutes purposes, please, so that we don't have any confusion at a later stage. Thank you. The item is therefore carried as such. We'll move on to item 11.8, the confirmation of council resolution for item 11.5, investigation of contemplated in item 15, read with item 16 of the Code of Conduct for Councillors, Schedule 7 of the Local Government Municipal Structures Amendment Act of 3 of 21, alleged breach of Code of Conduct for Alderman Gericke. The first person to speak on this item is Alderman van Niekerk.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this item has served before on 25th of May. I'm not going to go into, I believe that the item is self-explanatory, so I'm going direct to the recommendation on page 960, and I will read that the resolution be taken on the item 11.5 on 25 May 2023 be confirmed to read as follows: that Council adopts the finding and recommendation of the Special Committee, specifically that the matter be noted as settled and that no other sanction is recommended against Alderman Gericke. B, and that the rest of the resolution taken on 25 May 2023 under item 11.5 stay in force. And I so move. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Alderman. The next person to speak on this item is the ANC. You have 2 minutes.
Molweni, Speaker. Molweni nonke. Singumbutho ophethe umbutho omkhulu. Siyahambisana nesi sithatho sithi makususwe zonke izonto kungabikho zohlwayo, kodwa kukho into enye liyalimosha ixesha futhi asazi noba nenzela abantu basoko behleli bengcancazela. Nithi senenzile niphinde nibone okokuba bengekho zidingo zokuzenza izinto, ngoba ayikho into ethi xa ubani ekhala ngenxa yemisebenzi yenu engabhekanga engamanga kakuhle nifuna usoloko nibeka amatyala. Oko abantu abangathi bayathetha nisoloko nibamangalela. Mayiphele into yokuba nibane nidlala ngexesha. Zithi izinto ezibalulekileyo anifuna uzisondeza nisondeza nje izinto ezingabalulekanga. Emveni koko sawukhalaza nibane nifaka uxinzelelo ebantwini. Ukusukela ngoku ke makwazeke okokuba ixesha lokudlala liphelile. So apha zonke into esizenzayo ayibe zizinto ezibheke phambili. Kwesi siphakamiso ke nesizindululo sokuba kukrwelwe yonke le nto isuswe, ya siyahambisana nayo. Ngokuba ningabe nigrogrisa abantu. Abantu mabazive bonwabile bekwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wabo. Xa nisoko nibeka amatyala nicinga uba bazawuqhuba njani umsebenzi wabo. Yehlani kweli hashi. Laye kuba mhlophe ngoku. Enkosi.
Thank you. Can I have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. We as ANC, we are in full support of the recommendation because we see that you are wasting a lot of time. This is such a waste of time. We do not know if you want to bring fear to people for them not to express their views and opinions in a right way, because now they have to fear because they will be charged if they express their opinions. This is a total waste of time, and people should not be threatened or be charged if they are bringing complaints. If there's no, if they have a problem with you, now you want to charge them. It is such a waste of time. We are not we are supposed to address the important issues. We're supposed to look at the important issues that they should be addressed, not playing and wasting time. Let people be free in expressing themselves and let people be free in doing what they are supposed to do, because they have been entrusted to come and express themselves and do what they have been entrusted to do. So let us not waste each other's time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Peterson.
Mr. Speaker, the item relating to this incident already served before Council, and a resolution was taken and adopted. Today, we as Council are here again to rectify and confirm the resolution that was adopted. It seems to us that the coalition is doing everything in its power to keep our leader in the limelight, and we appreciate it. However, we cannot believe that with all the high-paying officials within the municipality, items such as this still serves before Council. Surely this should have been done when the original item served before Council. This is not the first time that we as Council has to come back. That items either has to be confirmed or rectified because of the hastiness in which decisions were made. Mr. Speaker, we urge you to ensure that the administration get their house in order. We as the PBI will not be silenced. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peterson. The next person to speak on this item is Councillor Johnson. You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the proposal made by Alderman van Niekerk.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. The next item on the agenda is item 11.9, adoption of bylaws, Department of Financial Services. The first person to speak on this is Councillor Wessels. You have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Yes, Speaker, this item is to consider the final adoption of bylaws to the Financial Services Department, which was considered and provisionally approved at a special council meeting on the 20th of April this year. The specific bylaws we are dealing with today is the Customer Care Credit Control and Debt Collection Bylaw, the Tariff Bylaw, and then the Property Rates Bylaw. The bylaws were published for media in the media for the public comments in terms of the Municipal Systems Act. Notice were also placed on various municipal notice boards, etc. The website of George Municipality showed it, and copies were made available at the libraries. Comments were received from the George Ratepayers Association, and that can be seen on Annexure B, with the responses and comments made to these comments by the Ratepayers Association in Annexure C. Speaker, so with all of that being said, the recommendation reads A, B, and C on page 963, and I would just like to propose the recommendation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is the ANC. You have 1 minute, please.
Masibulise Speaker. ANC sithi le nkqubo ye-bylaws mayihambe isiwe ebantwini physical. Siyayazi inkqubo ye-bylaws uba ngaba inako apho ilungisa khona, inako apho icinezela khona abantu bakuthi. But okubalulekileyo kuba siyithathe sisondeze ebantwini, sifundise loo nto ke thina ke ngoku uba ngaba abantu xa xa udlulisela ngoba bakuvotele suboyika. Iyandiqaka ke lo mntu uba ngaba adlulisele ngoba uvotelwe baphinde aboyika abantu. Siyacela zonke ii-bylaws masiwe physical ebantwini bazokwazi uba bathathe inxaxheba yokuphulaphula ukuthi kuphi apho kurongo khona, kuphi apho kurayithi khona. Sicela nje net loo nto Speaker kuzo zonke ezi bylaws siyazibona, siyazifunda, but siyafumana uba sometimes abantu bakuthi abekho kakhulu kwi-social media bonke, abekho kakhulu ekufundeni amaphepha bonke. So bakholwa into zizwe kubo ngokwendlela e-practical, zizwe physical kubo bazokwazi ukukhomenta, bakwazi uba bahlomle babone apho kurongo kurayithi khona. Enkosi kakhulu.
Thank you very much. Could we have a translation, please?
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, we see the bylaws and the policy. But what we actually say is the ANC is that let the bylaws be taken to our people, because we don't understand the concept of asking people to vote for you, but then you are afraid of coming to the people and coming to address these bylaws, because sometimes there's a lot of questions and people want to interact and know about what is going on, because most of the people, they are not in social platforms and people are not, some of them, they don't even read newspapers. So we advise that let these bylaws be taken to our people so that our people can get to understand what is going on. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person to speak on this item is the PBI. You have 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, we as the PBI would like to record our dismay at the adoption process that was followed with these bylaws. The bylaws should have been included with the agenda where the multi-year budget served before council. The coalition's explanation then was that it already served before council and it did not have to serve with the budget. Now the explanation for the bylaw serving here today is that the public participation process was followed and all of the comments were taken into consideration. Mr. Speaker, we noticed in the media that the ratepayers of all ethnic groups in George is not entirely happy with the proposed bylaws. Attempts by yourself to calm the nerves were met with anger. Mr. Speaker, public participation is a requirement for bylaws being introduced that will affect the ratepayers of George. Bylaws that are applicable to the public needs to be consistent with the Constitution and democracy for which our forefathers fought very hard. Mr. Speaker, only when the needs of the whole community and not a select few is taken into account will we realize the dream of a unified democratic society. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Camille. You have 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, when we talk of bylaws that have never taken place for public participation in a form of physical engagement, which this municipality did for the integrated development plan. But when it comes to very important laws of this municipality, which can lead to arrest as they are binding, this municipality can't afford our people that time to come and engage with them physically. So we totally reject that, and this is not the matter of numbers, but substantive issues that need us to agree that we are failing our people, as majority of them are illiterate and can't access internet, and those who can, majority of them are unemployed, they can't afford a data. So, Mr. Speaker, we say these bylaws must come and be addressed physically in our communities, as you did with the IDP. Such engagement have to take place in our communities because internet is not the solution for bylaws.
Thank you, Councillor. Your time is up. Thank you. Maybe on the next speaker, the next person to speak on this item is Councillor van Branders. Councillor, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I do appreciate. Firstly, all the correct processes were followed. According to the Municipal System Act, the public participation was done correctly and successfully. We did not only put it in the newspapers, we also put it on various municipal notice boards, and copies were in all libraries available to give the people a chance to actually go through the bylaws. So, Speaker, with this, I second the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next item on the agenda is item 11.10, adoption of bylaws, Community Services Department. The first persons to speak on this item is going to be combined between Councillors Clark and Cyphers. You have 6 minutes between the two of you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Speaker, for allowing me this opportunity. Speaker, as we know, bylaws should be updated frequently. Therefore, the following bylaws applicable to Community Services Department were provisionally approved by Council on the 20th April 2023. They are as follow. Air quality management bylaw, cemeteries and crematoria. Sporting facilities bylaw. This bylaw will not be approved today and will come to Council shortly. Integrated waste management bylaw. This bylaw has already been approved and therefore does not need to serve today, Speaker. Speaker, I would like to read the following amended recommendation. Council take note of the comments on the bylaws applicable to the Community Service Department received from the George Ratepayers Association as per Annex A, as well as of the responses thereto as contained in Annex C. B, that the following bylaws applicable to the Community Service Department be finally adopted. They are as follows, Speaker, as you mentioned, as a combine between me and Councillor Clark. Therefore, I will read just the ones that pertains to my department. C, Air Quality Management Bylaw. D, Cemeteries and Crematoria Bylaw. Speaker, C, that the bylaws mentioned in B above the promulgated in the Government Gazette in terms of Section 13A of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act 2000, Act of 30 of 2000. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Clark, you may go ahead.
Speaker, thank you. As Councillor Cyphers mentioned, that these bylaws were approved in April. So I therefore propose the following bylaws. That is the bylaw on community fire safety, bylaw relating to the use of remotely piloted aircraft and model aircraft in public places and streets, bylaw relating to impoundment of animals, bylaw relating to prevention of public nuisances. With this one, Speaker, additional definitions relating to vehicles have been added, which will be placed in the chat box, and which I will read quickly. It says under definitions, the following definition needs to be added. Vehicle means any device driven by mechanical, animal, natural, or human power, and includes any craft or aircraft, but does not include a vehicle, chair, or a device drawn or propelled by hand and used solely for the conveyance of a child or invalid. Section 3P, the following section is proposed under 3P6, spinning and revving a vehicle or making an excessive noise with a vehicle in any other way. This has been included in the chat box. Then a public participation process was subsequently followed by placing the advertisements in the local paper. on the municipal website and displaying the bylaws at the libraries within the municipal area, inviting the public to submit their comments and inputs on the proposed bylaws. Speaker, then we have the bylaw on liquor trading days and hours, which we are withdrawing and which should then be brought before council at the end of July 23. Then we also have the bylaw relating to the regulating of the keeping of animals, dogs and cats and other animals. So Speaker, comments were received from the public on the proposed bylaws and the responses thereto are included in the agenda. Based on the comments received, amendments to certain of the bylaws as indicated were effected. It is recommended that the bylaws listed then be adopted by council. And I have the following amended recommendation under A, that council take note of the comments on the bylaws applicable to the Community Services Department received from the Georgia Ratepayers Association as per Annex B, as well as the responses thereto as contained in Annex C. B, that the following bylaws applicable to the Community Services Department be finally adopted. They are bylaw relating to community fire safety, bylaw relating to the use of remotely piloted aircraft and model aircraft in public spaces and streets, air quality management bylaw, cemeteries and crematoria bylaws, as Councillor Saffers said, bylaw relating to the impoundment of animals, bylaw relating to the prevention of public nuisances, public amenities bylaw, the bylaw relating to the regulating of keeping of dogs, cats and other animals, and C, that the bylaws mentioned in B above be promulgated in the Government Gazette in terms of Section 13A of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000. I therefore propose. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on this item is the ANC. You have 1 minute, please.
Maningene kwakhona speaker. Iyayityeba but iyancipha kuqala loba funeka ize ebantwini because into ezibalwayo apha kwezi bylaws zibaluleke kakhulu but into efuneka ukuba ziye ebantwini and kubalulekile uba niziqhelise ngosondela ebantwini because neparlamentary inenzela umzekelo ngokuba ize apha isondele ebantwini nenani ngabatheni khuphani iteksi zize ebantwini zihlezi zinyuka apha zisha abantu bahamba bawumamela umthetho webylaws because sinabo abantu abasebenzisa zonke ezintoni zibaluleke ekufuneke bezimamele ibylaws bafake icomment practical phambi kweni banicacise bakwenzekayo. Asifuni ke kube ngathi xa abantu benomsindo bezintoni zawuzenza malunga nezi bylaws bengathi siyamjikela. Siyabaxelela ukuba zange siyivume apha phambi. So sizama unicacisela nabahlali basimamele ngoba asiyivume le nto nenzayo. Nizibala kakuhle khona eziport network animals. Zinto funeke zicacisiwe because bonke abantu bakuthi bayasebenzisa. Funeke ziziswe ebantwini. Not bonke abantu bayifundiswa social media. Not bonke abantu.
Time, Councillor. Thank you. That is your 1
Thank
minute.
you, Speaker. It seems like bringing these bylaws to the people is totally not being considered here at all, because yes, you are laying them and you are telling us what are the bylaws, but bringing them to the people, it is what is most important, because people need to know and understand these bylaws. They are quite important, as you have listed them and mentioned them. They are important and they will affect our communities, so they need to be brought to people or to their attention so that they can be properly explained to them, that they can understand these bylaws. Even Parliament does go to people and explain some things. What is wrong with you? Don't want to come to people and explain. Now, when people want to protest against these bylaws, we won't be able to help or assist, because it will seem as if now we are turning against you, but we did advise you to please come and explain to the people so that they can be aware what is going on and what are the changes that have been brought to these bylaws. So again, we are saying let them people be considered and bring these bylaws to the people so that they can actually understand them, what they are all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Quillis. Before we go to the next speaker, I just need to bring to your attention, Councillor Adams, that the Mayor has made an amendment In the chat box, which I need to bring to your attention, that paragraph 11.5 be deleted. If you could just read that, Councillor Adams, before you go ahead. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Adams. You have 2 minutes, please.
Speaker, the above deletion removes the provision to only dig graves on a Friday. Therefore, the caretaker has the discretion to do it as per he may. Speaker, I want to second the proposal made by my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The item therefore carries. We therefore move on to item 11.11, which is the adoption of this bylaws, Civil Engineering Services Directorate. And the first person to speak on the item is Councillor Johnson. You have 3 minutes, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, the following bylaws applicable to the Civil Engineering Services Department were provisionally approved by Council on the 20th of April 2023. We had 1, the bylaw relating to stormwater; 2, bylaw relating to streets, sidewalks and public places; 3, public transport bylaw; 4, water and sanitation services bylaw; and 5, water services bylaw to limit or restrict the use of water. Mr. Speaker, a public participation process was subsequently followed by placing advertisement in the local newspaper, on the municipal website, and displaying the bylaws at all libraries within the municipal area, and also inviting the public to submit their comments or inputs on the proposed bylaws. Comments were received from the public on the proposed bylaws, and the responses thereto are included in this agenda as Annexure B and C. And based on the comments received, amendments to certain of the bylaws that indicated were affected. Mr. Speaker, I therefore propose that the bylaws listed above be adopted by Council and promulgated in the Provincial Gazette, and that is as the correct recommendation is on page 1250 and 1251. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The next person to speak on the item is Councillor Mankele from the ANC. You have 1 minute, please.
Mandingene kwakhona Speaker. Still asikwazi ujika. Sithi i-bylaws aziziswe practical ebantwini. Umzekelo ngoku uCouncillor ugqiba kuthetha apha besifundiswa nge-water and sanitation last week. Sifundiswa practical. So siyayicela nangokuba laa mzekelo ubusenziwa ngabantu bakwaSALGA phaa makabuye izokwenziwa apha ebahlalini. Nangoku uyayazi uba into ye-water and sanitation it is very important. So we need to go ebantwini physical. Please, sicela umasipala okhokelwa yidini oqhayisa ngoba uphethe but izinto kazenziwa. Inkosi.
Thank you, Speaker. Again, I say that it is only going to be practical is going to be needed for you to bring these bylaws to the people, because the councillor just spoke about water and sanitation. The example that was made by the SALGA people where we were being showed and taught, that is what is supposed to be brought to our people so that our people can be properly taught. We are pleading with you, please, DA-led municipality, to bring this to the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paulus. Can I then ask Councillor van Branders? You have 2 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I do agree it is very important to bring this bylaws to the people, and that is why it's the work of the ward councillor to discuss every decision that's made in council or any bylaw or anything that happens with its constituents, which is its people. So that is why we had the different workshops to explain this bylaws to the different councillors. It is then our work as the ward councillor to go out and discuss it with all the people. The municipality also did put it on the notice boards and had copies in the libraries to make it as accessible as possible. Thank you, Speaker. I therefore propose. I second the recommendation.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor, that therefore carries. We're going to move on to item 12, which is motions, which we received none. Item 13, we have new motions, which is none. Matters at the discretion of the Speaker. Councillors, I need to bring to your attention that all the ward councillors have been sent a operation plan, which was due to go to province tomorrow. And the document has been emailed to you, and it needs to be submitted by the end of business this evening or at the latest 10 o'clock tomorrow, because it needs to go to the MEC's office. You have been given this prior, and if you have not sent it in already, you need to do it today or tomorrow morning at the very latest. So that is my matters at the discretion of the Speaker's office. We therefore move on to item 15, urgent matters by the municipal manager. I have received nothing from the municipal manager. This portion of the meeting is therefore concluded. I'm going to ask that exactly 12 o'clock, perfect timing, we break for lunch. We're going to continue with the confidential portion of this meeting at 12:30. I think that is sufficient time for us all to grab something to eat, to have a body break, and then also to cut the YouTube channel. Can we all then resume at 12:30? My time now is 12 o'clock. So in 30 minutes time, we will resume for the confidential portion of this meeting. Thank you very much.